wants to be king!
In the cold, unforgiving lands of the north, where storms rage and the earth trembles beneath the weight of ancient gods, one man stood at the crossroads of destiny. His name, Ragnar Lodbrok, was whispered in fear and reverence across kingdoms, a man whose ambition knew no bounds, a warrior who challenged the very gods themselves. But who was Ragnar, really? Was he just a king? Or was he something more? A legend that lived on in the blood of his sons, who would carve the future of the Viking world? A simple farmer, or the father of all Vikings? In the age of gods and warriors, when the North was ruled by storms and steel, one man dared to dream beyond the horizon. His name was Ragnar Lodbrok, a farmer, a fighter, a king, and above all, a visionary whose ambition would change the fate of the Viking world forever. Ragnar was born in the cold lands of Scandinavia, a simple farmer in Kattegat with a restless soul. He lived with his wife Lagertha, a fierce shield maiden who matched his strength and spirit. They had children and a quiet life, but Ragnar was never content with the known world. While other Vikings raided the east, Ragnar believed the true riches of the gods lay to the west, across the vast sea that no one dared to cross. Driven by curiosity and prophecy, Ragnar defied the will of Earl Haraldsson, the ruler of Kattegat, and secretly built a new kind of ship, faster, lighter, and strong enough to sail into the unknown. With the help of his closest friend Floki, a gifted and eccentric shipbuilder, Ragnar built a vessel that would carry him into legend. And so it began. With only a small crew, Ragnar set sail west, and what he found changed everything. He reached the shores of England, a land rich in gold, monasteries, and unprepared soldiers. The raid on Lindisfarne Monastery sent shockwaves through the Christian world. Ragnar returned with treasure and slaves, but most of all, he returned with proof. The West was real. Earl Haraldsson saw Ragnar's rise as a threat. A power struggle followed, and Ragnar challenged him for leadership. In a brutal duel, Ragnar emerged victorious and became the new Earl of Kattegat. But this was only the beginning. Ragnar's hunger for exploration and conquest grew. He formed uneasy alliances with powerful men, including King Horik of Denmark and Jarl Borg, a rival earl. He made enemies and lost friends. His marriage with Lagertha fell apart when he betrayed her trust, and she walked away with their son Bjorn. Ragnar later married Aslaug, a princess and seeress, who gave him more sons, Ivar, Ubbe, Vitsirk, and Sigurd. As Ragnar's family grew, so did his influence. He led more raids into England, striking fear into the hearts of kings. He forged a complicated relationship with Athelstan, a Christian monk he took as a slave, who would become his closest friend. Ragnar, though a devoted follower of Odin, was fascinated by other beliefs. He questioned the gods, he questioned fate, and yet Ragnar never stopped chasing it. Eventually, Ragnar clashed with King Ecbert of Wessex, a cunning, silver-tongued ruler who shared Ragnar's vision but not his loyalty. Their alliance was built on respect and betrayal. Ecbert admired Ragnar but plotted behind his back, slaughtering Viking settlers and betraying their trust. At home, Kattegat grew stronger, but danger brewed within Ragnar's own bloodline. Jealousy, ambition, and prophecy began to tear at his family. Ragnar's brother Rollo, once his fiercest ally, turned against him and sided with the Franks. The betrayal cut deep, but Ragnar pressed on. His most daring raid came in Paris. Determined to sack the unconquerable city, Ragnar staged his own death, hiding in a coffin and being carried inside the gates. When the Franks let their guard down, Ragnar and his warriors rose from the shadows and took the city by surprise. He won not just by sword, but by cleverness and through sheer will. But glory comes at a price. After years of battles, betrayals, and personal losses, Ragnar disappeared. He abandoned his throne, his people, even his sons. He vanished into legend, leaving Kattegat in the hands of others, while the world wondered if the great Ragnar Lothbrok had died. Then, years later, an old man returned, weathered, broken, a shadow of the mighty warrior he once was. Ragnar returned not to conquer, but to find meaning, to challenge the gods, to accept fate. He reunited with his sons, but they were now men of their own destinies. His youngest, Ivar the Boneless, was brilliant and ruthless. His eldest, Bjorn Ironside, had become a warrior like no other. Ragnar knew he had one final purpose. He returned to England, not as a king, but as a sacrifice. He allowed himself to be captured by King Aella of Northumbria, the man who hated him most. Ragnar's goal was not survival, it was legacy. Thrown into a pit of snakes, Ragnar met his death with calm defiance. As the venom coursed through his veins, he looked to the sky and declared his final words. "It gladdens me to know that Odin prepares for a feast. Soon I shall be drinking ale from curved horns." The young pigs would squeal if they knew how the old boar suffers. Death comes to us all, but not all can say they truly lived. With his death, Ragnar ensured that the rage of his sons would fall upon England like a storm. And they did. The Great Heathen Army, led by Ivar, Bjorn, Ubba, and Hvitserk, crossed the sea and avenged their father's death with fire and blood. King Ella was captured and executed, the brutal blood eagle carved into his back. Ragnar's death was not the end, it was a beginning. His sons carried forward his legacy, becoming kings, conquerors, and legends in their own right. They fought across Europe, built kingdoms, and reshaped the known world. But they would always live in the shadow of their father. Ragnar Lothbrok was more than a warrior. He was a dreamer, a father, a lover of knowledge, and a symbol of change. His journey from farmer to king, from legend to martyr, made him the greatest Viking of all time. Today, his story echoes across history, across oceans, across time. Ragnar did not seek to be remembered. He simply followed what he believed was right. And for that, his name will live forever. He was Ragnar Lothbrok, the man who defied fate, fathered an empire, and became the eternal fire that lit the path for all Vikings.